I recorded yesterday originally, and so many takes. Here we go. Took forever to get the day started, but here we are. Let's bring some awareness and let people know what I'm thinking about. Oh man, I'm not feeling this at all. Oops. If you enjoy this content, please be sure. No, wait. Let's try that again. No, I'm not feeling that either. Shit. Having honest discussions and conversations, trying to get to know them better. And yeah. I got it this time. What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Rated G. I'm your host, G TERADO. For those of you who are new here, welcome to the show. This is a podcast where I typically sit down with fellow local artists and I try to help promote their craft and their business. And while doing so, we have honest discussions and conversations, all things around art and creativity, as well as other aspects in life. So if you enjoy this content and you want to continue to support the podcast and my YouTube channel, please like, subscribe, ring that notification bell. That way you can keep up with all the current uploads. And also check out the links provided in the show descriptions in case you want to continue to follow myself and my featured guests. I'll make sure I have links in there that will lead you to our social media and all of our active platforms. And for those of you who are tuning back in, welcome back and thank you for your continued support. Now, if you've been keeping up with the podcast, I appreciate you. For recent audience members, I've been sort of doing the last few episodes solo just to shake things up and just talk about the things I want to personally talk about and just rant about. And yeah, I just thought it was a nice shake up. And just recently I did take a week off, which is a nice little change because I've been just busting out podcasts every week. And yeah, it was just a nice little break. Although I gotta be honest, recording this episode has been quite the hassle. So many times I would push back on recording, and then when I did record, I recorded yesterday originally, and so many takes. Here we go. Took forever to get the day started, but here we are. Let's bring some awareness and let people know what I'm thinking about. Oh man, I'm not feeling this at all. Oops. If you enjoy this content, please be sure. No, wait. Let's try that again. No, I'm not feeling that either. Shit. Having honest discussions and conversations, trying to get to know them better. And yeah. I got it this time. The Inktober challenge. And man, I'm just not feeling this recording. All right, this one feels like a winner. You know, I'm just thankful that she made this one a free event. You know, they usually cost money to get table space. Still not feeling good about this one. Yeah, I was just feeling off, and I guess that's just what happens if you don't, when you've been so consistent on doing the thing and then you finally just decide to take a week off and not, even just think about the project itself. I don't know, kind of, yeah, and then you finally jump back into it, just like, I don't know, wobbles you, hinders you a little bit. So yeah. So what I'm currently going through right now. But here we are, finally got this one out to you. Um, so yeah. Anyway, got some interesting uh headlines I want to talk about later, involving uh both the art community and the climate change activist community. uh, but before I get into all that, figure I want to do a little quick update because, um, you know, although I didn't have a episode go out last week, I did put up some new vlogs from the recent events that I did last couple of weekends. It was a great way to end October, to be honest. Uh, and now it also it was a nice, like, I don't know, like, reassurance because I've been vocal about my frustration in trying to get on some of these markets, and sort of last minute, these other pop-up ones happen to come through. And yeah, so if you don't know, I got three new vlogs. One of them is from the fall artisan market at Shepherd Street Tavern, which was a free event that my friend Renee Kelber, she's an artist and she was also one of the vendors there, but she put this event together. So shout out to Renee. And uh, so that was great. The second vlog I did, that I put up, was the fourth Friday art reception. The theme was the dark arts. I had a piece that was part of that exhibit. So that's up there. And then the third one is the recent Halloween moon market at Stone Brewing, which my first time vending with them. And they were one of the markets I was really hoping to get on board with, and to do one of their events. And like, I was a perfect fit for the Halloween theme. So yeah, they were all fun. I don't want to spend too much time. Oh, forget my timer. I don't want to spend too much time talking about each one, but like I said before, it was it was a great way to wrap up October. Um, for going back to the fall artisan market. Um, yeah, I was at the point, like, I was getting to that point where, like, man, I really needed to be surrounded by community, um and just socialize. Uh my day to day is so repetitive because I always, I schedule, like, what projects to work on every day. So it's just been like that on repeat. So it was nice to switch it up on the weekends and do events again. And yeah, I'm grateful that Renee, considered me and reached out. And that it was a free event, didn't cost me any money to use the space provided. And I made a little bit of money, which is great. Um, yeah, I was just thinking if I wanted to bring this up because everyone talks about, like, yeah, it's great to have events, like, markets and whatnot at breweries, or at bars or whatever, because people get, they'll get a few drinks in them and then buy some art, buy some, you know products, which is true. But then there is the flip side of, like, in my experience, pretty much agreeing to work on a commission Um, I had this talk with one of the attendees, and I don't know if they were drunk, but they kind of had, I don't know, I was getting a vibe that maybe they were a little lit up, and they're just, all positive vibes. It was a great interaction. And what do you call it? Yeah, I don't know if they were lit up or not. Maybe that's just me misreading them, but uh, they wanted a commission of like a portrait, and like price wasn't a concern, like, you know, and we exchanged numbers, confirmed that you know, those numbers are our contact. And yeah, so then, I've been trying to touch base with them and just make sure, reconfirm that we're still doing this, because I haven't heard back. It's been a while now, and I've been trying to give them time and space. Like I texted them after the market just to be like, to uh confirm the details of what they want in the commission. And then I gave them like an estimate. So I haven't heard back, and I tried calling, kind of got it went straight to voicemail. So I'm like, all right, maybe I'm calling at a bad time, an inconvenient time. They might still be at work, making dinner, whatever, running errands. So I get it. Um and then maybe like a day or two, tried calling again, and then nothing. Again, straight to voicemail. I'm like, all right, I guess bad timing. I don't know. And tried a couple times. And I would even text again and just be like, hey, just want to touch base and just yeah, confirm the, like, I got you're giving me the green light to move forward with this and get started. But nothing. Nothing. So perhaps I'll try calling them one more time, leave a voicemail, and then just leave it at that. And if they really want to get the commission done, they'll reach back. We'll see. But anyway, my point is sometimes alcohol doesn't always lead to a sale or a commission piece. So it's all good. Um Clearly. No, but overall that market was cool. Met the vendors there. Yeah, again, it was just a nice little refreshment of being on the scene and just mingling with people. In that vlog, I try to capture some of my conversations without um while respecting the privacy of the people I'm talking to, because probably don't want to be filmed. It's like, it's weird. So I would keep the camera on me, just having trying to have these exchanges. And yeah, I didn't get to do that so much on all of the vlogs. I'm really aiming to do more of that, though, when I do make more vlogs for events. um I do want to capture some of the interaction. I did the fall market by myself too, because it was like, I think it was like 4 hours, I think, or 5 hours, and I just did it by myself. Usually, I have Nicole help me out. Like, she still came and helped me set up and everything, but then yeah, I let her. She just went back home, hung out. So yeah, that's that one. Then the following weekend was the art reception at Artworks, and then the Halloween moon market. So Friday night was exciting. Um, especially because that night I received my first ever honorable mention award, which I was unaware was a thing. Um, but yeah, it was cool. You know, it's something to be proud of. I think it was a nice little self-esteem boost, to be honest. But yeah, with artworks, I've been submitting art for the past few months, 3 months now, right? Um, and I mean, first of all, I'm always just grateful that at least one of the paintings is accepted by the juror. Uh, and that so far, yeah, everything is. I've been part of the last three now, um, group exhibits, but this one was, I mean, yeah, a little more special because I got an award this time, which tells me I got some real potential. If I'm being truly honest, um, but also the one of the main exhibits that night, um, was artist, author, speaker, and curator of the Edgar Allan Poe Museum here in Richmond, and he had his artwork up, which was phenomenal. But he was also the juror for the Dark Arts All Media show, which was what I was a part of. Um, and yeah, I got a nice little check for it. That was the award, which was nice, and like I got a nice little I got a card, a little certificate things like signed by Chris Setner, who is the artist I was just speaking about. Um, so yeah, that was pretty neat. And you can watch that as well. That's one of the vlogs. And then the following day was the Halloween Moon Market at Stone Brewing, and it was my first time doing an event with them. I've been to a couple just to preview the scene and the traffic and the type of vendors that they have there. And that one always felt like more of my scene just because of the just with the variety of vendors and creators that they have there. Um, it was a nice blend of creatives. So yeah, I heard from a couple of vendors there that they've waited for a while to get on, I guess, like the regular markets. And here we are. I was able to get selected for the Halloween one. Hopefully I'll get accepted for the holiday, the Christmas ones, because I applied to some of those. But yeah, it was for the first time. It was a good. This one was another successful event. Made some money, got in a profit margin. Um, and again, just the overall vibe was awesome. Shout out to a couple of fellow vendors. Mary Twist of Twisted Nature Dies. She's been on the show before. And um, Ryan Myers, who I met at the Fall Artisan Market. They were both there. Um, that was cool. You get this, you see them in the vlog too. So yeah, that was cool. Just seeing familiar faces, uh, and of course, just like meeting you know new people, more people from the community, just getting to know the community a little bit more. And it's funny because like I've done, I guess, like I've done just about enough local markets where I'm starting to recognize the attendees. And yeah, so that was neat. And yeah, again, it's definitely a goal to capture more interactions with the crowd during these events. In the future, I didn't get to although I had so many great conversations during the market. Did not capture any. Nicole was a little too busy, just assisting me. And then at one point, her sister with our niece came, so she was hanging out with them for a minute. So yeah, overall great turnaround. Uh, although I was offering on-site commissions for this one, and I don't know. I think I might just hold off and only offer them for like festivals, big festivals. I said that big festivals. Because I feel like when they're only, if I'm doing a market and it's only, 4 or 5 hours, I don't think anyone's gonna be interested in getting commission on site. Uh, and also I've raised my prices because, to be honest, I put so much effort into them and I spent a lot of time on them, with the details, that the prices really weren't, they weren't doing justice, to be honest. Like, I was underselling. And yeah, and so I tried to, have more of a fair price. And I don't know if that's like that one is one of the main factors that's keeping people away from getting commissions or what. Um, but anyway, if that is the case where I am working on a commission, and let's say I do spend 45, close to an hour on it, you gotta think like that's almost an hour out of whether it's a 5 hour or 8 hour event. Like, that 1 hour was spent on a commission. So I've always made it a mission to work on my how much time is being spent on something, on a sketch, whether it's a portrait or a full body character or sketch card. Like, you know, I used to track that shit. But yeah, I might just save them for bigger events. And also, instead of offering commissions, I might just say, hey, I'm doing live demos at my table. So maybe that'll and encourage, influence them into, I don't know if that's the right word, but sort of persuade them into getting a custom sketch or something, or a a bigger commission. That's the hope. So we'll see. But yeah, it was a pretty busy weekend. And also trying to keep up with the Inktober challenge. If you're not familiar with what that is, Inktober is this monthly challenge that happens in October, and you basically just you illustrate something using the medium ink. Now, some people do it digitally as well. I tend to be sort of a purist in the matter that, like, the end result will be done in ink traditionally. Whether I start with pencil or not, it will always end up in ink, black ink. I don't know why I'm so rigid in that way. And I love doing those things personally because it does take me sort of out of my comfort zone a little bit, and kind of explore a certain style of illustrating, uh how I want to do things a little differently, like with my cross hatching techniques. Also, just again, like, these are all just sort of personal goals and things that I aim for when I do these challenges. It's just how comfortable I am with the utensil. So, I try to be mindful of how, how much pressure, how tight I'm holding up the pen or pencil. Um, but yeah, I love having those different daily prompts set for you, and you just take that word and then interpret it the way you however you do. And I tend to take it quite literally. And whatever the thing is, I'll just go on Google and just search that word and see see what the results will inspire. So, and then you just put your own personal take on it. I mean, that's how I approach it. And I was filling the pages up in my mini sketchbook with all the Inktober sketches this year. Last year I did I did the 11 by 14, which was nice because some of those pieces were, you know, like I sold some of them, so they weren't just some of the illustrations I don't think I'll ever sell because just the quality and whatever the prompt was. Um but yeah, it's just, again, it's cool to experiment. Uh but yeah, it's been lately, as of recent, it's been a huge goal to finish this mini sketchbook that I got. I don't know how many pages total. Some of them have been ripped out. Some of them have just fallen out because like the stitching or whatever, it's got loose. So there's been a few pages that that are missing, but I mean, still, it's a lot. See it on camera here if you're watching. Um, the rubber band shows. It's my mark right there. But I have, let's see, one, two, three. Yep, about 7 pages. I got 7 pages left, and that book is done. And this mini sketchbook was actually a gift from my homegirl Leanie. Shout out to Leanie. Yeah, but I love doing. Yeah, I love daily sketches. Like, if you're familiar with my work, if you follow me on social media, you 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 have an idea of my style when it comes to pencil and inking. Um, Now I'm trying to, well, not trying, but I think my next goal now is to do, in daily, or I'm gonna aim for daily watercolor paintings and just small ones, nothing crazy. If not daily, maybe every other day, something like that. But to at least have a few small, you know, paintings of whatever. Um, have like a couple every week. I think that'll be the goal. And it can just be random. I mean, I wish I can. I mean, I could probably just look something up, probably, right? Look up like a November art challenge. Yeah, let's do that. Tinker sketch. What is that? All right, so pattern, change fast. Boundary, drips, whimsy, stencil, copy, shiny, bump. Okay. You can try it. See, I mean, is there other one? November drawing challenge. Wind, tractor, buttons, bus, harvest. Ooh. Okay, this one sounds a little more fun. Yeah, this one sounds a little more fun than the other one. Sorry, Tinker Lab. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, this is cool. Shit, where is the other one? Okay. Make sure I save this. Save image as. Um, yeah, I feel like the Inktober challenge kind of, and I've always liked doing daily, like, again, daily sketches, but I don't know, kind of taking it a little bit further and trying to do paintings now. And again, maybe I'll just, because I don't want it to take a whole day. Like the sketches I was doing for this year's Inktober, they would take about maybe an hour, maybe like hour and a half for each sketch. Uh, and I feel like when it comes to painting, that will actually turn into like a whole day project. And I don't know how well I'd be able to keep up with that if that was the case. So I might just stick with 5x7, pretty good standard small size 5x7. Uh, so yeah. Hey, and it might actually help replace some of the, because that's the thing too with these markets around this season. Yeah, maybe this will help me help with producing some art that I could sell for those for the upcoming markets. If I even get accepted, I don't know. uh, I mean, I could be like racking up small pieces that I'm gonna use for the art hunts, scavenger art hunts. I'm still doing that every month. I just recently did one at the Moon Market actually. It's a sketch of Edgar Allan Poe standing with a skeleton, and immediately that thing got picked up, and yeah, that was nice. Got my name out there, got a new follow, so that's fun. I like doing those. But yeah, anyway, those are the updates. That's what I've been up to. Yeah, let's get into these headlines. So I imagine you may be aware of uh the vandalism that's been going on around the world at these selected art galleries. Yep. These acts of vandalism by these climate activists and protesters, throwing food, wasting food on these historical pieces of art, which are protected by glass. So, look, the awareness thing, people are definitely aware now. If they weren't aware of climate change, because that's the ultimate goal here, is that these protesters trying to gain your, or spread awareness, gain attention on the matter with climate change, and by doing so, they're tossing food at these paintings. And if you know me quite well, then you know that I don't like wasting food. I went on a big rant about the TikTok's NyQuil challenge, NyQuil chicken challenge. Yeah, don't cook your chicken in NyQuil. It's so fucked up, right? Because like we got homelessness, we got people starving. Here we are, just like wasting food, like that shit. When I'm seeing like these trends, these things that people do with food that go to waste. There was a quote that I heard: "We're the only species that creates environments that actually hurt us." Facts. Makes me so mad. But for real, like, why are you wasting that shit? And people complain about starvation and all that. It's like, fuck, man. Like, boy, are we privileged to be able to just waste food on trendy, you know, on these trending challenges. It's stupid. But this is far more than just a trend, TikTok challenge, whatever. This is the thing that these activists agreed would be their act to promote climate change. throwing food at these gallery pieces. But but so here's the thing, right? Because I actually remember, well, the first thing that I heard about was when, and this happened earlier this year actually. A man dressed as an elderly woman, like came in a wheelchair and everything, threw cake at the Mona Lisa in Paris, and of course that person got apprehended and brought into custody and all that. But what was it? They were saying something here. Let me get to it. Um, yeah, so wearing a wig and using a wheelchair, the man shouted that people should think of the earth, and also threw roses at the guests at the museum, which was weird. Um, but yeah, so that happened in May, and then now recently there was another case in London where the protesters threw soup at a Van Gogh piece titled Sunflowers. Thankfully, that too was protected by glass. So that's I want, like, it seems like, I mean, they can't be that dumb. But then again, some of the things they were doing is pretty dumb. But I wonder if they're doing this knowing that the paintings won't actually get damaged. It's been reported that the framings, uh I forget which one it was, but one of the framings got damaged a little bit, but nothing major. But I wonder if they actually are aware that these paintings are protected, so whatever you're gonna throw at them is not gonna actually damage the piece. Um, like, yeah. But it's like, come on, you're wasting food. you know, uh, yeah, like, come on now. Another case. So this goes on. Uh, the climate activists throw mashed potatoes on a Monet painting. Monet. Oh, and I did leave out the protesters that threw the soup at the Van Gogh piece. They glued themselves to the wall. They glued themselves to the wall. They glued their hands to the wall. What? So that you don't get apprehended, I guess. Come on now. Why? And it's so funny because that becomes an ongoing thing for the protesters, is gluing themselves to the wall or to the ground. And let me tell you, sweet justice prevails. So, oh wait, the mashed potatoes thing. That one actually, there was a video. I'll pull that up actually, because they explain, or they say something while they're glued to the wall.
Hallo. Wo wollen Sie kommen?
People are starving. People are freezing. People are dying. We are in climate catastrophe. And all of you are afraid of is tomato soup or mashed potatoes on a painting. You know what I'm afraid of? I'm afraid science tells us that we won't be able to feed our families in 2050. Does it take mashed potatoes on a painting to make you listen? This painting is not going to be worth anything if we have to fight over food. When will you finally start to listen? When will you finally start to listen and stop business as usual? But like, isn't that counter? Isn't that counterproductive though? Like, oh, you're worried about soup or mashed potatoes being splattered on a painting when we should be worrying like that. I was just talking about that, wasn't I? About wasting food. You're wasting. You're talking about starvation and not having enough food to last us or whatever. Like, but you're throwing food away at wasting them on paintings and shit. Like, save that food. I'm sure I'm missing something, but I don't know. That just seems illogical to me. All right. It's like, yeah, man, we're gonna fight for starvation. Give me that can of soup. Fucking throw it on the painting. Yeah, we're gonna stop starvation. Give me that mashed potatoes. Get the gravy. Gotta go all in, man. Bring in the Thanksgiving meal. Just throwing all the ingredients to a Thanksgiving dinner at a painting. Yeah, I don't know, man. Just sounds so dumb. So that was in that happened in Germany, right? I don't know. It's so stupid. Um Now the last one I'll mention. Now this is when sweet justice comes into play. Climate protesters glue themselves to Porsche Museum, but needed to go potty. So the staff simply left, turning off heat and lights rather than calling the police. It's so funny. It says here, where is it? The UK Outlet Express, likely sick of this happening on its own shores and not inclined to be charitable, wrote that the protesters pleaded for medical treatment because their hands were sore and moaned and they couldn't go to the toilet. The paper interviewed one protester who said of staff, they refused our request to provide us with a bowl to urinate and defecate in a decent manner while we are glued. And we can't order our food. We must use the one provided by Volkswagen. Lights off, random unannounced checks by security guards with bright torches. Serves you right, dumbass. Oh my god. That's too funny. That's comedy right there. Like what are the meetings like when they organize these things? Like what are the discussions that happen when they're trying to get ready for this, when they select a day or an event? It's like, all right, guys, you know, well, like who's I well, again, I guess the whole thing with the food was, well, one was for climate change. The other one was about starvation and stuff, and climate change as well. But it's just so stupid. You're wasting food and you're trying to, you know, fight these causes. Anyway, all right, and you're gluing yourselves. Now, in this case of these guys, at the Porsche Museum, like whose idea, like who actually started the gluing idea, and did they consider like the brand to use? Because all right, you're doing skin to wall or skin to ground, whatever. Like, do you use Gorilla Glue? Do you use or do you use what's the fucking basic one at like Michael's? Elmer's? You can use Elmer's, Gorilla Glue. What else? You ain't using super glue. I don't know. There's so many different types of glue. I should know because I used to work at Michael's. But yeah, like, come on, glue, really? I mean, now you know what happens. You gotta take a piss. that brings up another question. It's like, all right,
We're gonna glue ourselves to the wall. So we gotta make sure we relieve ourselves, we relieve our bladders, and make sure we get all the poo out just in case. We might be there for a long time, folks.
like, is there ever that speech? Don't eat anything before we go, okay? We have to make sure we fast, all right? We're gonna do a little bit of intermittent fasting. We don't eat until we're let go. But I don't know. It's so stupid. What was the other thing I was thinking about? Yeah, I think that's just about it. It's like, all right, what happens if you gotta go to the bathroom? Or or if the fucking establishment just shuts everything off and leaves you in there. That's fucking hilarious. So props to the Porsche Museum staff. That is hilarious. Um yeah, I wonder how many of these really go on. Should I look that up? No, I don't want to go into that deep dive. Yeah, it's so stupid. Don't waste food. If you're gonna fight for a cause, don't waste any food. God damn it. No. I do want to end this on an inspiring note. Um I've always tried to bring in a fun element to the podcast, especially when I'm doing solo recordings. For example, a while ago, I used to do this thing called the unnecessary deep dive, where I just kind of like overthink things pertaining to movies or whatever the topic could be. And I kind of just go on a deep dive on it. And sometimes it leads to, if I'm talking about a movie or a franchise, I'll watch all the movies and shit. And that's just one example, but that was an experiment for a segment. Now there's something I want to try to bring in, and hopefully this one sticks because I'm trying to think of something that can apply to everyone, and yeah. So I just want to make this a fun experience for the audience, um, you know and yeah, I don't know. We'll just see how long this goes. I don't have a proper name for it just yet. So right now, I'm just gonna call it inspirational discoveries. Now, the reason why I'm calling it that is just because you know if you're in my position, got a lot of time to yourself. I'm sure I got my projects, and they got the podcast, the artwork, and all that. Being house husband, cat dad. Nah. But I don't know. Lately, I guess because I've been so reflective and introspective and finding all these little discoveries about myself and what truly kind of makes me who I am. So I'm always finding these little things about myself, and uh and these small things tend to paint a bigger and brighter picture about myself. So um and other things too. So anyway, I want to bring this segment into the podcast, inspirational discoveries, and it can pertain to people, places, or things. And on this episode, the recent discovery I made, which I find very inspiring, is finding out that stand-up comedian and comedic actor Kevin Nealon is a phenomenal caricature artist. He just came out with a book called "I Exaggerate My Brushes with Fame," and it's a book of, I guess, a bunch of stories and interactions he's had with celebrities. we're talking big name A-listers, uh, and just like other, I guess like other comedians, and it has all of his caricature paintings in the book, and I would actually consider getting this book. Like very rare where I want to get a book, and if I am getting a book, it's an audio book. But this one, because involving artwork, I would actually like to have a hard copy of this book. But yeah, I just recently discovered that he's like a very talented artist, and just from hearing it from podcasts that I listen to, like with other stand-up comedians, they just been talking about it, and because I guess he's promoting his book now. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking at his work right now. I'm like, the shit's like really good, and caricature art is one of the things I would like to truly dip my toes into, because I'll do like tunify or do like a comic book caricature of somebody, but doing like a true, like the in its true nature, in the form of caricature art, I would like to get into that and learn um the basics of it, the things you exaggerate on people's features, but still captures such a likeness and accuracy of that to them. So yeah, Kevin Nealon. I mean, if you're not familiar with the name, surely you know him from he used to be on SNL. He's in pretty much all of the Happy Madison films with Adam Sandler. Um, but yeah, he's hilarious, and he is very artistically talented. Another one I want to bring up too, because this was very recent, is actor Terry Crews. Is a very talented portrait artist. I didn't know this, and it's funny. You go on his Instagram, and it's all there. I mean, you can Google him too, and it's. I was like, oh shit! Like I just had no idea, and I don't know if they talk about it in his interviews in the past, but I mean, yeah, he like his portraiture is very good. I mean, not that like I would have any doubts, because he's just like a big buff dude who's funny. Like, I mean, my man got skill here. And I love, and that's the thing I find so inspiring, and what I love about, when you discover, you just discover these big names that are capable of other great talents, like, especially with art, you know, um, like for example, Kevin Nealon being when he, being in SNL, like I used to love SNL because they would have all these big name actors, like, from comedic acting to drama, or like, musician, like people, just these celebrities, and they play these funny roles, and it's just funny to see them out of character, right? In a way. Uh, it's like, oh man, I didn't know the such and such could be so funny. Like, I mean, I remember this is one of more of a somewhat recent, kind of old now. But I remember an episode where Shia LaBeouf was hosting, and this was probably like around the 2000s when Transformers was out. And I remember the one episode he did, it was so fucking funny. But yeah, just going back to like when you discover something like that, about a celebrity of any type, and just finding their other skillful talents. I love that. And because this is an art-based podcast, and finding out that Terry Crews is highly skilled in portraiture, and Kevin Nealon is highly skilled in caricature art, and the fact that it's like almost they're on different areas of the spectrum in terms of portraiture, because Kevin Nealon does the exaggerated portraits of celebrities, and Terry Crews does actual, realistic, accurate portraits of celebrities. So it's, you got like these two different styles of portraiture art. And and I think it's also obvious that that I'm so intrigued by it because if you follow my work, you're familiar with it. I love portraits. I do love portrait sketches. But yeah, I thought that was inspiring just to know that, you know, like fucking so many artists that we are unaware of. I love that. So I just wanted to share that with y'all. Thought that was inspiring. Hope that inspires you too. Um, and that's it, y'all. I do want to point out, plug this in real quick, that I am available for commissions now that the holidays are practically right around the corner. But even still, like, I'm available all year round for personalized art. Sorry. Personalized art, any size, negotiable rates, shipping and handling is included. But yeah, if you need you want to have a gift for the holidays or birthdays, anniversaries, housewarming, or perhaps just for yourself because you got to treat yourself every now and then, yeah, just contact me and we'll just go from there. All right. Again, I want to thank everyone who has been tuning in. Thank you for sticking around. Hope you enjoyed this episode. And yeah, if you enjoy this content and you want to see more content, please like, subscribe, ring the notification bell. That way you can keep up with all the current uploads. Okay. Yeah, and peruse through because I'd be posting some artwork and vlogs and whatnot. So yeah. Okay, enough of that now. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay aware, and happy Veterans Day to our troops. Veterans Day is coming up, so shout out to all you vets out there who have served and continue to serve our country. Much love to you all. And that is all. Saying all a lot. Peace out, y'all. See you on the next one. All right. What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Rated G. Nope, not feeling that. Shit. That's right. So here we go. Boom. What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Rated G. I'm your host, G TERADO. For those of you who are new here, welcome to the show. This is a podcast where I usually sit down and help promote fellow local artists and creators. And while promoting them, I sit down and, oh no, I'm not feeling that one.